I want to welcome you to Dream Chasers Radio with me, your host, Yaya Diamond. What's up, peoples? How you doing? It is a great day, and I'm having so much fun. I have Mr. Bateman back on the show. Man, I'm telling you, it's been a minute, but he has another book coming out soon. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves here. Let's kind of rewind and go back. I want to introduce to you Twisted Spiritual Poetry. You know, he has done amazing things with these books that he has written, and I wanted to talk to him. Definitely wanted to talk to him about the way he deals with his own demons. I am interested in this. Mr. Bateman, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. So tell us about yourself.
Well, my name is Charles Bateman, but I go by Charlieboy. Everybody calls me Charlieboy. I'm going to be 60 years old in February, and I've got 5 years clean off of meth and heroin. And I work a recovery program, and I have really good people in my life, my support network, and my advice to people that are struggling with drug addiction or alcoholism is to surround yourself by winners. You know, go to a 12-step program, get to know people, and start living your life differently, and stop living in the gutter. Really.
My goodness! Wow! So this is why you wrote your first book. Yes. What?
It was my addiction and my experience in life in general were the driving force behind my poetry. There are bits and pieces broke off and put into different poems, but there's a little bit of me in each poem.
You know, you have a very amazing story. Not a lot of people have that testimony of getting off drugs and you know, being the person that they envisioned themselves being from the get-go. Tell me, what was that like for you?
Well, for me, in the beginning, I was going to a methadone clinic in about a half hour away from where I live now, and the cab driver, the people that were in the cab on the way down to the clinic, they were meth addicts, and we would smoke meth all the way down there and all the way home. And I thought, I just cannot get clean at this place, man. It's horrible. And so I went to a new clinic for a little further away from my home, but they have a shuttle that picks us up and takes us. I go every Thursday. And, but I spoke to a person there. Her name was Kim, and she told me that she would give me a chance, you know, and so I think I used maybe a couple days more after that, and then I thought, what am I doing? I threw it away. I had to stop, and I started going to this treatment center, and they had all these different groups and wonderful tools for sobriety, you know, and for getting your life together. And it helped me to get my poetry published also, you know, because I think that if I hadn't been on this path, I don't think that Workbook Press would have called me out of the blue. They thought I was a Charles Bateman that had already published a book with them, and I said, well, I'm not him. I said, but I write poetry, and it just went on from there.
You know,
I'm sorry if I'm talking too much.
No, it's totally amazing. I mean, so you just cold turkey, that's it.
Yeah, I had enough.
Did you use any kind of a drug to stay off? Like some people have to have the drugs to get off the drugs.
You know what? I did. And I got on methadone, and I'm still on it, but I'm at a lower dose. I'm tapering off of it because I want to be done with that and then move on to the next chapter in my life, you know.
Wow.
And I don't see the methadone or Suboxone. I don't see any of those having a place in my future.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's a little bit of me in a nutshell.
My goodness,
I'm learning every day, and I'm growing every day. I don't ever want to act like I've arrived. I put my faith in my higher power, and I don't have him in my back pocket. Man, he loves everybody, so God is good all the time.
I think it's just amazing what you have done. Cold turkey, you said, that's it. I am done with this. This is just not working. When did writing come into play, and how did it help you to deal with your demons?
Well, it actually started a couple of years before I went to this other clinic, because I was just so frustrated, and I had all this, I don't know if I'd call it negative energy, but I had a lot of energy in me, and I found through writing, I could burn some of that energy, and I could change my focus from my problems to my poetry, and it made me feel good. It made me smile. And I thought to myself, this was a couple of years before I got published with my first book, and a couple of years before that, I would share my poetry with people at the bus station, and get their feedback, and every person I asked about it, every one of them said that was wonderful, and I'm not big headed. I don't think I'm the cat's meow. I'm just fortunate enough to have had the stars line up just right for me to get my book published.
Wow. Wow. I think that is just amazing. I think that's just amazing. And okay, so with the willpower that it takes to just say, I'm done. What kind of advice do you give people who are trying to get off? There are just so many people that are trying to get off that kind of revert back. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. What is it that you have done that most people can't do?
Well, I kept it simple, and they have a saying in AA. They say, "Suit up and show up." That's all you got to do. Put your clothes on, come to a meeting, and just listen. You don't have to talk. You don't have to come and it's not. We don't preach God to anybody. That's something we rather show instead of tell. And you just love people back to health, and give them the time of day. They just want somebody to listen to them a lot of times. And there are some people that are in it just because the court is making them go, or they have legal problems that are leading them in that direction. But, that doesn't matter to me, because they're going to hear something good, and it might be something that's so small, but to them it will make a big difference. That's the way I kind of see that.
My goodness. Wow. I'm just so happy for you. This is a big deal.
Yeah.
You get to live your life. How many people don't get to live their lives because they can't get off of the drug?
Yeah, it's really sad. I have friends that have come to the clinic, and I just see them drop off and go right back to whatever it was they were using. And it's like a routine with them. They come and they get sober for a couple of weeks, then they go back out, and they do this all the time. It happens all the time. I just stick with people that are consistent in their recovery. And I think that's so important for people to find someone they can trust. And they're out there. People you can trust are out there. And you can find them in the 12-step meetings. NA, CA, Alcoholics Anonymous. Find a meeting and just go, man. Just go. Be a part of something. Do not be part of the problem. Be a part of the solution. That's the best advice I could give somebody.
Yeah.
You know.
Wow. I absolutely love it. Let's talk about your book. What's in your book that you've placed in there purposefully to help you through what you're going through right now?
Well, some of the poems I've written are, through the venting and just finding something positive to do with my gift, and if it weren't for poetry, I really, I think I would probably still be at that messed up treatment center I was going to, and I'd probably still be hooked on meth if it weren't for God giving me the talent to write poetry. And I just tell people, find something you love doing. It doesn't have to be poetry. It can be something else. It can be art or, drawing, painting. People need to use their gifts, their talents. Don't bury it in the ground,
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
That's the way I see it.
So in this book, can people who are going through drug addiction or drug withdrawal, or even a different circumstance where they're addicted to food or something to that effect, will this book help them?
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Mr. Bateman, you are just a dream.
Thank you, Yaya. So are you.
It's just, thank you. It's just wonderful to see that someone can make the decision to get off and just stay off. It's hard.
Yes, ma'am.
It's got to be hard. I don't know if it is, because I can't compare it to anything. I've never really been addicted to anything but my mother. but
that's good. That's a good addiction.
It's a good addiction, right? But I'm just saying, it's just, I'm sorry I don't understand it, but I'm happy I don't at the same time. But I do understand determination.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You don't have to be a drug addict or an alcoholic to understand the beauty in life, and I hear people call people that don't use or drink alcohol, that are not addicted or alcoholics, they call them normies. And I think that's such an insult to me. There are no normies, Everybody has troubles. We have mountains that we must climb, rivers to cross, being stuck in the valley of decision. What am I supposed to be doing next? Having all these questions, and everybody has trials and tribulations. It's just not drug addicts and alcoholics.
Right.
Look at all the mothers and fathers that have children that are battling cancer and that are, life changing. My heart goes out to them.
Yes.
Far more than it does the addicts or the alcoholics. And maybe that's wrong, but that's just how I feel.
Wow. That's, wow. You're right. You're so right. Mr. Bateman, thank you so much for being on the show. I truly appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're a mystery, they say. They say you're a mystery, but I don't think so. I think you're just a determined person to understand that your life is precious and you got so much wonderful things to live for.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Where can people find your book?
Oh, on Amazon. My third book will be coming out shortly. So I'd tell people to keep their eyes open for Twisted Spiritual Poetry, a sequel.
Okay.
And that's the name of it. And yeah. I think Amazon, Target, and Walmart.
Awesome.
And it's also going to be in stores for 30 days.
Okay.
So I paid for that as part of the package. So anyhow,
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we are going to go ahead and put that link in the description box wherever people may be watching so that they can actually get that and,
All right.
And be able to read through it and maybe even gift it. I mean, there's so many different people going through so many different things. I think this will be a great book to give to them to show that it is possible. It is possible.
Yeah. Thank you, Yaya. I just really appreciate you. Thank you very much.
And I appreciate you too. And I appreciate the listeners. Definitely go to that link if that's something that you want to check out for yourselves. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. This has been a really cool situation where a lot of people out there can be saved just by determination and just deciding. And sometimes a book can be the answer. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. And don't forget to dare to be different. Until next time, guys. Bye.
I dare to be different.